it going, man?
I'm good, Sebastian. How are you?
All right. Amoeba Music. You're a bit far away, aren't you?
It's a good place to be.
Yeah, I love Amoeba.
Yeah.
Great.
So you got a big day of talking about Australia.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're coming back in November, playing this Skid Row debut album as well as the Slave to the Grind special show in Melbourne.
Mhm.
Have you done that anywhere else in the world?
Oh, yeah. We did a full US tour in 2019, doing the first album. The the first record, Skid Row, came out in 1989. So the 30th anniversary was 2019. And we did a full US tour in celebration of that record. And we were booked to play Australia in 2020, but that was then 2020 happened. So we couldn't come. And I haven't been there since then. And the promoter in Australia wanted to bring us there this year. And he basically begged that we would do that first record. And he goes, please, please, please do it. We go, okay, because we were booked to do it before. But this is the only place we're doing it in 2025
Yeah.
because we promised we would 6 years ago. So we are fulfilling that promise, but it's not the 30th anniversary, it's the 36th anniversary.
Yeah.
But
Um,
that doesn't have quite the ring to it.
yeah.
36, yeah.
I know these Australian shows just celebrating those Skid Row albums, but how much of the new album, Child Within the Man, have you been playing in the States? Have you rehearsed all the tracks up?
Not all of them, but most of them. Because the first record, Skid Row's about 45 minutes long. We're not just going to play for 45 minutes. We'll play an hour 15 at least, probably an hour and a half. And if I talk too much, it could be 2 hours, which I'm known to do. You never know. But we'll be doing every song from the first record, but that's only 45 minutes worth of songs. So you're probably going to hear Monkey Business, I would imagine. Seems to be one that people enjoy. And off the new record, What Do I Got to Lose? People love that song. Hold On to the Dream. I don't want to give it away, but I just did kind of. There's also a song on the new record that I wrote with Orianthi
I
from
know.
Australia, and
Yeah.
the song is called Future of Youth, and it kicks total ass. And her lead solo in this song, I think, is the heaviest music I've ever heard that Orianthi has recorded ever. Um,
So where do you know Ori from?
my wife and her were very good friends, or are good friends, and way back long, like 2019, I think it was. My wife said to Orianthi, "Do you have any cool riffs? Sebastian is making a new album." And she just sent me that riff. I go, okay, done. I can write a song with that. All I need is a riff. I don't need anything else. In fact, it's better usually when musicians say to me, I'm going to write you a song. I say, don't. Like maybe it'll be great, but I like to just have the riff, and I like to work on the music, just starting with a riff. And all she had was that riff, and we turned it into a whole song. But her lead break in that is so cool.
Yeah.
And the video is really cool, all about, the future of the youth. And
Was that a fun album to make?
well, we made it in the pandemic. So it was very weird because I didn't know that we could get on a plane then. But I don't know what it was like in Australia, but we were locked down for like 2 years in the COVID thing.
Yeah, us too.
And my management said, "You're going to Florida to make a record." I go, "What are you talking about? I can't leave the house." And they go, "Well, if you get there, you're going to live in a house with Elvis Basquet, the producer. That's his studio, where Slash makes all his records, and Miles Kennedy and Alter Bridge. Um, so he has a house, and we never left the house. He has an old Neve recording console from 1974 that Queen used to record on, and I think you can hear some of those qualities in my new record. The album was also mastered by a guy named Robert Ludwig, who
Yeah.
happened to master a record called Led Zeppelin 2.
Sorry, what was the name of that album?
It has a song on it called Whole Lot of Love. Maybe you've heard of it. Same guy, the same guy. He also mastered Kiss Alive, not a bad album. But the combo of Elvis Basquet, producer, with Robert Ludwig, the mastering engineer, is they've only made one record together, and that's my record.
Wow.
And since this album was made, Robert Ludwig has in fact retired, and he doesn't make records anymore. So this is one of his last ever albums. And
Was his experience that bad for him?
Well, you'd have to ask him. One of my favorite, because I'm a vinyl collector, and I like all kinds of music. I love yacht rock. I love Steely Dan. I love the Eagles. I love Rose Tattoo. I love all kinds of music. But Robert Ludwig mastered the Donald Fagen record called "The Night Fly" from 1980. Which is a song, what a beautiful world this will be. Do-do-do-do. What a glorious time to be free. And this sound of this vinyl in my living room, when I put it on for my friends, their jaw hits the floor because of the production and the sound of it. So when I talked to Robert Ludwig on the phone, which I got to, I mean, he was in his 80s when he did my record. And he said, "Well, Sebastian, what are you kind of looking for in the sound?" And I go, "Well, one of my favorite albums that is one you did called Donald Fagen, The Nightfly." He goes, "Sebastian, your record is not Donald Fagen, The Nightfly." And I went, "No, it's not. No, it's not." We both started laughing, and I just said, "Well, I just like the sound of it." And like, if you listen to the song "Hold On to the Dream" on my new album, when it gets to the chorus, I'm doing so many harmonies with myself that, to me, it sounds like yacht rock, that the chorus of that song. That song is like a metal song with a yacht rock chorus, which to me is killer. Like, I love that. There's no rules, and I'm just honored because, like, I collect vinyl. I mean, I got 16 copies of Kiss Alive because I'm always looking for the best pressing.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my copy of Kiss Alive, and this RL right here stands for Robert Ludwig because he mastered the first pressing of this album. And whenever I get a record with his name on the back, I know it's going to sound incredible. So the fact that he did my record means that I'm a fan of my own record. Thank you.
What do you like in the studio with your vocal takes? You like to do a lot of takes, or do you like to nail it in one or two?
No, I like the sound of doubling which is Ozzy Osbourne or John Lennon. When you hear their vocals, they're always double tracked. John Lennon hated hearing his voice one track. So I'm a fan of that too. I don't do it every note of every song, but I like to double. I'm very, without bragging, I'm very good at doubling my vocals. Like you can't tell. I can do it exactly the same. But I just like that sound. Like when you hear the chorus of I Remember You, and it's remember yesterday, walking hand in hand. It's not just one of me, it's two of me. It's doubled. So it has that Ozzy sound. Like when you hear Ozzy sing, I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. That's not one Ozzy, that's two Ozzies.
Yeah.
So I just like that sound, and I can use the studio whatever way I want. It's not like, oh, you doubled it. That's not, you're allowed to use the studio. Like when I hear people say that live record, Kiss Alive, that's not a real live record. They touched up some notes. You're allowed to do that. It's not like Bono from U2. No, The Edge, the guitar player. He uses echo on his leads all the time. And I read an interview, he's like, people give me shit because I use echo on my guitar. And he's like, but I like the sound of echo. Like he likes it. Like when Rob Halford hits one of them screams, like in Unleashed in the East, there's a combination of delay and reverb on those high screams, but it makes it sound otherworldly. Like if you didn't have those delays and reverbs on it, it wouldn't have the same sound. So I use the studio. I don't have tapes on stage or background vocals being played while we're on the stage, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But I like to, use the studio if I want to double track a scream or put some delay on a scream. Take me out in the back and shoot me. I don't care.
Yeah. You mentioned Ozzy. Where were you when you heard the news that he'd passed away, and what did he mean?
Oh man,
What did he mean to you?
I was still recuperating from the concert, the Back to the Beginning. I never paid for streaming or whatever. But I saw the day after that concert, there was some footage on YouTube from the pro shot. And I cried watching it because I love Black Sabbath and I love seeing them at their age get together and play one last time. So I watched it and I was blown away. And so I invited my friends over because I got quite the stereo system in my living room. And I said, come on over, let's watch it. So I went on YouTube and it was gone. Sharon must have had it pulled down. Wasn't on YouTube anymore. So I said, F it. I went to the Back to the Beginning website and I bought this stream, and it was only available for one more day. So I had this packed house and I just had a bunch of friends over. And I had paid the money for the stream and we watched as much as we could. And it was just so heavy watching them that I wasn't prepared for him to die. Like I was still recuperating from watching that concert, which was only 1 week or a week and a half before he left us. So the day that he died, I was like not prepared. I don't think any of us were prepared because we had just seen that concert, like literally days before.
Yeah.
So I'm still, I have this thing, man, that it's probably not right that I do this, but I learned this when my dad died in 2002. I cried so much that I had no more tears left. Like for months, I was so hurt that my dad died at the age of 57, which is how old I am right now, knock on wood. Anyways, so we all go through that. That's life. Every one of us has to deal with that. But what I did learn is that sometimes I have to compartmentalize things in order to get through the day. And since my dad died, sometimes now when a family member dies or one of my heroes dies, like Ozzy or Greg Allman or Eddie Van Halen or Neil Peart, sometimes I pretend that it never happened. I know that's kind of a lousy thing. Like I just lost my cousin Kevin. He was 52 from cancer, and part of me refuses to accept that. I just in my brains I'm like, fuck cancer, fuck you. I'm not gonna let myself really feel that. Of course, I do feel it, and sometimes it hits me. But when my dad died, I had no compartmentalization. So as I get older, maybe it's cold, maybe it's not right, but sometimes I just pretend that this never happened, and I just still haven't. I still haven't accepted that Ozzy Osbourne is dead, like because a part of my childhood dies with Ozzy, and I'm not a child, so I better get used to that.
Yeah, because
But
your dad was a part of your music career. He did artwork for albums. Were your parents proud of what you achieved?
yeah, he actually did Child Within a Man right behind me here. Um, they couldn't believe it. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to collect all the rock magazines like Circus Magazine and Cream, Hit Parader from England, Kerrang from Australia, Hot Metal, but that wasn't around when I was a kid. But I collected all these magazines, and I would, just like everybody else, I would tear out the pictures and cover my walls in pictures of Kiss and Van Halen and AC/DC and Rose Tattoo and Judas Priest and Rush, all these bands. And so when I was on the cover of Circus Magazine, and it was a poster of me in the middle of the magazine, my dad he could not believe it. He couldn't believe that as a kid I collected all these magazines and then I was on the cover of the magazine. He couldn't process it. So I mean, I can't show you now, but I got a painting he did that's uh like 12 or 14 feet high. It's me in the Circus Magazine. The first time he saw the centerfold of his son, he painted a giant. Oh, it's this painting right here. Wait, this one.
Okay.
Um, but my parents were music fans. Um, I was raised on incredible rock and roll. One of my first memories is my mom and my Aunt Leslie making some French fries in the kitchen, cranking Jimi Hendrix, Let Me Stand Next to Your Fire. And I was about 5 or 4, and I couldn't believe the drums by Mitch Mitchell. And I remember my mom, my aunt just rocking out, like making food for the kids. And but Hendrix was so heavy to me. Like, I mean, it was heavy music. So I was raised on rock and roll.
Yeah. So, and your son's in your band now?
Yes, he is. Yeah. And if he messes up this next song after the show, I'm going to make him go mow the lawn. No, I mean, I was inspired by Eddie Van Halen and Wolfgang Van Halen. When I saw Wolfgang become the bass player of Van Halen, that made me say to myself, well, I should give my son a shot, because my son has one thing that you cannot teach a musician. He has the discipline and the passion to practice every day for hours and hours. I was stuck with him in the pandemic, and I had to listen to him play drums every day for all day. Like I built a drum hut on my property because drums are loud. And I had like 3.5 acres at the time. So I built like a hut out on the property with a drum kit in it. And my son played all day, every day. I'd be sitting out on my porch in my bedroom, having a smoke, listening to him play. And you can't teach a musician to rehearse. You can't. They either do or they don't. That's got to come from within. And when I saw the level of dedication, and when I heard it on my porch every day for 2 years, I'm like, fuck it, put him in the band. And I didn't know if he could handle it, but he's handling it. And he's very excited to come to Australia. I'll tell you that. He's really excited.
Yeah. You're coming to Australia around the same time as AC/DC and Metallica.
Really? Metallica too?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Are we playing the same night as them? I hope not.
I'm not sure. They're both in the.
I checked AC/DC. We're not playing the same night as AC/DC. So please, Metallica, please. Come on, give me a break here, Metallica. Come on.
Do you remember the first time you heard AC/DC?
Oh, man. Well, let me preface that by saying that AC/DC obviously are one of the biggest bands to ever be in the history of rock. But my band that I was a huge fan of when I was a kid was Rose Tattoo. Like I grew up in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, and there's so many similarities between Canada and Australia. Like the street names are all the same. HP sauce is in all the restaurants. There's a lot of similarities because Canada was started by England and so was Australia. So it's kind of like similar. I feel a great kinship to Australian people coming from Canada. Like I think we kind of grew up similar. You guys had way better weather, and of course, but so the first time I heard AC/DC would have been at my buddy's house, Rick, Powerage, TNT. Those were the first songs I heard. I think it was the I don't know how to say Powerage or Powerage.
Powerage.
I think that was the first one I heard. But I remember vividly going into a record store when I was a little boy, and I had $1, okay, that I had saved up for. This is like 1977 or something like that. I had $1 in the record store, so I'd go to the bargain bin of the record store where they had all the, the cutout albums, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in that bin was Rose Tattoo, Assault and Battery. And they were the meanest looking dudes I had ever seen. The cover of that record, I was like scared by the cover. Then I looked at the price and it said 98 cents. So I go, hey, I can afford this one. So I took my $1 and I got 2 cents change. And I got my Rose Tattoo album for 98 cents back in 1977. I was like 9 years old. Yeah. And I love that music. I love Scarred for Life. I love Rock and Roll Outlaw. My favorite one is We Can't Be Beaten, which is to me such a fucking anthem. It makes me crazy, that song. It's like Youth Gone Wild, 20 years before. And or Youth Gone Wild is like We Can't Be Beaten 20 years after. That's more accurate.
I saw them play about 6 months ago, and they were still standing pretty good.
I played with them about 6 months ago.
Okay.
The Monsters of Rock cruise, and we did We Can't Be Beaten.
Yeah.
I love that song. I mean, it's got the spirit of an anthem of rock and roll for sure. And happy birthday, Angry Anderson, a couple days ago. Happy birthday to the legend.
So what's a rock cruise with Rose Tattoo like these days? Do you share a cup of tea or?
No, we were drinking wine.
Yeah.
It's good for the pipes.
So who of your rock star mates have been the worst influence on you?
Wow, the worst influence.
The guy that you know that if you're going out on the town with them, you know you're in trouble.
Well, I mean,
Or is that you?
it has been me for sure. I mean, I would say Dimebag Daryl, you knew where you're going to get in trouble, but I wouldn't say that's the worst. I mean, but people have their own image of celebrities. I mean, I'll tell you right now, the band Bon Jovi partied as much as other bands. It wasn't like they were like squeaky clean. They were having a real good time, just like Motley Crue and Pantera. Bon Jovi was partying as well. I think they hit it a little better. But it was a different time, man. It was a different time. If you want to read my book, 18 in Life on Skid Row, I tell all these kind of stories. I mean, Guns N' Roses, you knew you were getting in trouble going out with those guys. I mean, I have many stories. One of them, which comes to mind, one night, me and Duff McKagan went out to dinner in Hollywood with our girls at the time. And we went to this really nice 5-star steakhouse restaurant. It was beautiful. And I'll never forget this. We're sitting down eating, and Duff's not even saying much. He's kind of quiet. And we're drinking, of course. This was like the year 1990, maybe, or something. And we're just sitting there kind of bored at this restaurant, getting drunk. And Duff looks around, he goes, "Fuck it, man." And he, for no reason, he gets on the table at the restaurant of our table and does a handstand on the middle of the table. Now, Duff McKagan is like 6'4". He's a huge guy. And we're in this 5-star steakhouse. Everybody's in a suit and tie. We're fucking loaded. And he just decides to do a handstand on the table. And I go, "What are you doing, man?" And the table starts wobbling, and it goes, "What bang?" And the whole table just smashes in this pile of dishes and crystal and cutlery and butter and bread and food and wine and booze, and Duff's in the middle. He's on the floor of the restaurant covered in, and I'm in shock. And the owner of the restaurant and all of the waitresses and waiters just come over and they clean the whole thing up. Duff sits back down, they reset the table, and we eat dinner and act like nothing happened. And nobody says anything. That's one story. I could go for hours. But you don't see stuff like that happen too much anymore. Like a guy doing a handstand on a table at a steakhouse. That's the kind of trouble you would be getting into. But we didn't get in trouble. We got applauded for that kind of shit.
Well, Sebastian, we've unfortunately run out of time. We look forward to seeing you down here in November. And
all right.
It's been great to chat, man.
You too, buddy. Maybe you could take me out to a steakhouse in Australia, and I'll do a handstand for you.
I'll see if I can beat it.
Okay. All right, buddy. Great talking to you, man.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.